Good morning, and this morning we're going to be doing Chapter 6, Lesson 13, Divide Decimals by Decimals. So this is from page 455 in your math book. So we're going to do example 1. It says Casey is 4.5 feet tall. Her brother Jerome is 6 7/75 feet tall. How many times taller is Jerome than Casey? So we are going to take 6 7/75 and divide it by 4 5/10. So we can't do our division when we write it long ways as an equation. So we're going to flip it around so that it is doable. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is to make the divisor a whole number by multiplying it by a whole number by multiplying it by a power of 10. And when we multiply by a power of 10, you know what we're doing is moving that decimal. So if I want to make 4 5/10 into a 45, I would have to do 4 5/10 times 10, which would then move that decimal one time, and that would give me 45. So I'm going to move that decimal one time, and now instead of 4.5, I have 45. Now, if I do that to the divisor, I must also do that to the dividend. So I need to take the 6.75 and multiply that by 10 as well. So if I move that one spot, that becomes 67 5/10. So if I move it here, I'm going to move it here. So I move it 1, and I'm just going to bring it straight up into the quotient there. So it's no longer here, but between the 7 and the 5. So step 2 would be to multiply the dividend by the same power of 10. Okay, and then step 3 would be to bring that decimal up. Bring that decimal straight up. And step 4 would be to divide. So those are the steps that we are going to take. So if this is too messy, I definitely want to rewrite it after I've moved my decimals around so that I have a nice clean workspace. So I did that. I'm going to move this decimal up. And now I'm going to divide. So 45 is pretty close to 67, but less, so I know that it can go in one time. 45 times 1 is 45. And I get 22. And I'm going to bring down the 5. Remember, when I bring down one digit at a time. So now I need to kind of guesstimate how many times I think 45 is going to go into 225. I'm going to guess 5 times, so I'm going to do my multiplication on the side here. That's 20, 22. Perfect. So it goes in 5 times, and 45 times 5 is 225. I subtract and I get 0, so my answer would be 1.5. So Jerome is 1.5 times taller, is how I would answer that question. So first step, I need to make the divisor a whole number by multiplying it by a power of 10. So whichever power of 10 I need. In this case, we only needed 10. We just need to move that decimal one time. Sometimes we have to move that decimal twice, so we would have to multiply it by 100. So let's try example 2. Example 2 says to find 6/100 divided by 1.5. Again, I cannot write it when it's written as an expression or an equation. I have to put it in working form. And the first number always goes inside the house, right? So here again, I need to move this decimal, so I would multiply it by 10. I don't actually have to do the multiplication by 10 like I did here. I just have to move the decimal, but you need to understand that when you move the decimal, what you are doing is multiplying it by a power of 10. So I'm going to move the decimal one time here, and that's going to give me 15. And if I move it one time here, I'm going to move it one time here and bring it straight up and not have it here anymore. So I moved it one time on the outside, then I have to move it one time on the inside. If I had to move it 2 times on the outside, then I would have to move it 2 times on the inside. So these have to be the same amount of movements. I'm going to rewrite that because, like I said, I do not like the mess. So 15, let me bring that decimal up. 15 goes into 0 0 times, and 15 actually goes into 6 0 times. So now I have to, if I do 15 times 0 is 0, I get a 6. I'm going to have to, excuse my dogs running around, annex a 0 and bring that down. And 15 goes into 60. Maybe you know this already. So 15 times 4 is 60. So 4 times 15 is 60. And I get 0. So my answer would be here, 4 hundredths. I hope that is helpful. Thank you for watching.